What's up, guys? Today I am finally back doing another video, and this time it's a special showcase on my Marvel Cinematic Universe 10-year anniversary minifigures. And I'm going to be splitting this up into a few different parts, because all the minifigures I've made to celebrate 10 years of Marvel, that's going to be too long of a video, and I made so many, so I'm going to just do 4 minifigures hopefully per video. But for this video, I have Spider-Man in his homemade suit, Thor from Thor Ragnarok, Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man, and Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And so, yeah, can't believe that 10 years has passed for the MCU. Pretty exciting, and it's continuing, which is great. So, yeah, and I don't really have much else to say other than let's start the video. Okay, so first up, here is Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming in his homemade suit. And this is my third version of him that I've ever made. My first version was it's on my Instagram, so check that out. Link to my Instagram it'll be down below, but I'm not sure if it'll work. So you have to check if it works, because my links that I post in the description don't really work. But that was my first version that I've made of him. And then the second version was in the actual Spider-Man Homecoming showcase, which is now not on YouTube because it's really bad. And that figure didn't really look too good, but now this is my third version and my last version of him. So let's go head to toe with this minifigure, just like everyone else will be doing. The head first up started out as a blank red head, and I have the eyes painted on and the little crease line in his hood as well, which is there, and it looks really great. By the way, ignore all background noises. And a crease line on the back as well. It'll focus. There we go. And also his hood on the back. And then his torso is predictable what I'd be able to paint on there. That's basically what that is. His arms have detail in the movie, but I just couldn't really fit on the arm design because it looks very complex to paint, and I'm just not willing to do complex stuff on a simple minifigure, just like him. He also has fingerless gloves. Oh, why's my camera keep going out of focus? He has the fingerless gloves on either hand, and it looks pretty cool just to do this. So they're on both hands. This one's a little bit bad. And he also has the boots. They're basically plain legs, just with pockets on either side of the leg. And there's boots that go all the way around all 4 sides of both legs. And they're painted, obviously. Oh yeah, they have a little bit of detail on the bottom of the feet, kind of. And a little bit of detail on the boots. Forgot to point that out. But yeah, that is it for Spider-Man. And I don't have an alternative head for him. So what you see is what you get for this minifigure. So moving on, here is Thor from Thor Ragnarok. And this is definitely better than my first version. And for those of you who are wondering, I don't actually own the Thor Ragnarok sets, but the only thing I do own from the sets on its own is this helmet, which I painted all the blue details on. And that's the only thing I own. Everything else I don't yet own, hopefully for Christmas I can get some stuff from the sets. But the head is from the first Avengers Thor. Both sides of the head are completely untouched, because I like the head, and he looks better with a stern face than a smiley face, in my opinion. And the torso is fully painted by me. The arm is, he has the straps going around, they're brown, obviously. And his weapons, I might as well mention and get them out of the way. This little baton thing he has, I have no idea what it is, but he has it in the film. It's basically a cylinder piece and a lever piece that are shoved into each other, and blue tacked onto the hand, and it has all the painted details on that. So getting that out of the way, because it's kind of big in the shot, and you can barely see of it. And then this shield started out as Captain America's shield, and I just painted all of the details on there. And with the cap that you're going to see in hopefully my next video, yeah, he won't be having a shield, because this is my last cap shield. But if I can get him a shield before recording the next segment, by segment I mean the next set of minifigures to do with this, then hopefully that'd be great. But yeah, that has all the painted details like based off a reference, obviously, just like this entire minifigure. And yeah, so this gives you a better look at his legs. I hope if it'll focus. In fact, I might as well just pick him up so I can show you him. His legs fully painted by me as well. It's not really going to focus because my camera's bad at doing that. But he has a 3D piece on his belt. Why isn't it focusing? You can see he has a blue knee pad as well, and some red writing on his leg, and also some red writing on his torso. Both of those things are hard to see. And that blue knee pad thing does not continue around all four sides. It's hard to show. I don't want to ruin this little waistcoat section here, because it's hard to deal with afterwards. But the blue knee pad does not continue around all four sides. Only goes around 3. So yeah, that is it for Thor. And one detail that I left out because I didn't really want to do it, the red markings on the head that he had when battling the Hulk. Didn't need to add them because I just didn't really feel like it. But anyway, that is it for Thor. Moving on. For the second to last minifigure of the showcase, here is Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. She's not the only one that I made for this series, but I did make Yondu as well. He's missing an arm right now, but I'll fix that after this video. So yeah, I haven't made Nebula or Yondu from this film yet, because even though they're really cool, I just didn't get a chance to. So the head started out as a Yondu head, believe it or not, a knockoff one. And then I just painted lips on, painted the robotic details around her head. And then that was it for the head. And why is it not focusing? God, my camera's so bad at this. And her torso is an area-like curved torso that I found on 5-Star Toys. And there's the back. I think the back looks a little bit better than the front because that bright red over dark red looks pretty great. And the simplicity is okay as well. And yeah, you can see a bit of yellow on the back of her legs. And that's a situation that just happened to happen. But yeah, the front of her torso does not really look that great, but the back definitely looks better, I guess. And her robotic arm that she gets, I don't know when she got it because it wasn't revealed in the movies, I guess. I was originally going to go with a plain silver arm and a black hand for her, but this did not end up being the final idea. And the other arm as well was not going to be the final variant. Where is it? Oh, just bumped the camera. I did have another version of this arm here, but the one that I'm holding right now, this blue hand did not fit into this arm here. So I had to completely repaint that design on this extra arm, and that was quite time consuming in my opinion. So there's that. And the hand fingerless glove design as well. It's basically brown painted onto a blue hand. And her legs were also simplistic, and these legs started out as dual molded kind of legs. It was like this minifigure with red shorts and like yellow legs. You know how these are brown boots? Well, these brown boots were originally yellow, because you can see that on the back of her legs. And I just had to paint over the entire leg design, I guess. Those on this Lego minifigure series, whatever the hell minifigure. So other than that, that is it for Nebula. She doesn't have a gun because it looks quite hard to make, honestly. But moving on to the most time-consuming minifigure of this series, and one of my favourite minifigures of this series, Yellow Jacket. And finally, for the final minifigure of this showcase video, the most time-consuming one of these guys, Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man. I know I always got confused between the second film that come out of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but he wasn't in that film. Anyway, let's start off with the what I'm about to talk about will be like the longest part of this segment, so stick around. The stinger apparatus. How did I make this? Well, these two parts on either end was actually a leg of this like Ant-Man build. It's one of these parts. And the two parts at the back here, the two tooth pieces and their hinges, actually came from like the head of this thing, that's why they're off. So yeah, and there's a lot of blue tack to make sure this stays together, but I'm almost certain at some point it'll break. So that's why I'm being careful. He's like the most fragile figure next to Wasp that I've made. But yeah, the helmet's from the LEGO group, fully painted, because LEGO made it in grey and the rest of the minifigure. And the torso looks quite under-detailed, but that's not my fault because I just couldn't really see much to paint onto him. The arms and hands look kind of a mess, but whatever. It's kind of something because at least they have some details on them. The legs are my favourite part. All around all four sides were those leg parts. The parts where they were painted around all four sides of the legs were painted before adding the stinger apparatus. And here's a look at the head underneath. And hopefully I remember to put a picture up of that. And yeah, there's little light blue things on these pieces here to show like firing, whatever it is he's firing in the film. And there's also some little bits on top of these parts as well. And that's it for the most time-consuming minifigure next to Wasp that I've made. So I'm just gonna wrap up this video. So guys, that is it for this part 1 showcase video of my Marvel Cinematic Universe 10-year anniversary minifigures. I'll have more minifigures to do with this, and right now I've got to figure out the title of this video because I can't just have it as like LEGO Marvel 10-year anniversary minifigures. I'll see what I come up with, but while I do, you guys can be looking forward to my next video, which will probably have, well, it will definitely have 4 figures in to do with this same sort of 10-year anniversary thing, and it will hopefully include Cap, Tony, who else have I not added in yet? Odin, and I'll find someone else to add with them. But yeah, so that is it for this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed looking at these figures and how they turned out, and if you enjoyed this video as well, hit the like button because of that, or don't, doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's your choice on this video, and comment what you think of these figures. If you like them, you didn't like them, or what figures you'd like me to make for the next part. So yeah, and also subscribe and get me to 20 subscribers. And yeah, peace out.